the opportunity shows up. The invitation arrives. A decision has to be made. And something at the center of your body shuts down. Your breath gets stuck. Your shoulders tense. Your throat tightens. You know what you want. Your mind is clear. But your life force simply doesn't respond, as if there's an invisible barrier between what you desire and what your body can actually hold. This happens because an internal axis that connects your brain, heart, and gut has just collapsed. What ancient traditions once called the divine core is now identified by neuroscience as the vagus nerve. When this channel is interrupted, you lose presence in the very moments you need it most to create what you came here to manifest. In the next few minutes, you'll understand why this axis collapses and how it can be reactivated. A 3-minute ritual based on 3 spirals over a precise point on the body unlocks your life force with 11 times more intensity. But before revealing where to touch, you need to understand what mystery schools knew about this internal channel that modern anatomy took centuries to map. The Egyptians called it the seat of Ra, the place in the body where inner light dwells. Hermetic teachings described it as the inner altar, the point where spirit and matter meet to generate creation. The Vedic tradition named it Manipura, the center of digestive fire and embodied will. Different languages, different times, the same somatic geography, an axis that regulates life force and sustains presence when life calls for expansion. These schools could feel this inner river in their own bodies. Without modern anatomy, without dissection, just through deep somatic listening. They knew where to touch, how to breathe, what sounds to make to activate it. Their knowledge didn't come from theory. It came from embodied perception, passed down through generations that mapped the body as both sacred and functional territory. Neuroscience has now mapped what they once felt: the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve that winds from the brainstem through the neck, down past the heart through the lungs, connecting to the diaphragm and reaching the intestines. It's not an isolated organ. It's a two-way communication channel. Information travels from the body to the brain and from the brain back to the body, shaping how you interpret every moment of your life. Stephen Porges revealed through the polyvagal theory that this nerve operates in 2 modes. When the ventral branch is active, you expand. Creativity flows, presence is grounded, and opportunities feel like safe invitations. When the dorsal branch takes over, you collapse, freeze, shut down, automatic self-sabotage. The body interprets intensity as a life-threatening danger and switches off everything that isn't essential for immediate survival, including your ability to create. The divine core that the mystery schools touched during rituals has a precise location: the solar plexus area, where the vagus nerve forms its largest visceral convergence through the celiac ganglia. Touching this spot is not just a symbolic gesture, it's direct access to the axis that determines whether your creative field meets a body capable of holding the frequency needed to manifest what you desire. When this point collapses, you may visualize, speak affirmations, and write intentions, but your body can't generate the vibrational stability required to receive what you've been asking for when the opportunity finally arrives. And there's someone who lived exactly that: years of freezing at the most decisive moments until he discovered how to reactivate this core through a gesture that both science and tradition, each in their own way, have always known to be effective. Robert was 59 years old and worked as a nurse at a public hospital in a small town in England. His routine was predictable: night shifts, familiar patients, home before sunrise. Life worked, but within a narrow range. Every time something bigger came along, an invitation to lead the palliative care unit, a chance to transfer to a larger hospital in London, even the opportunity to go back to school and specialize in a field he had always dreamed of. Robert's body would just shut down. His solar plexus would harden like stone. His breath would get stuck in his chest. His thoughts turned into catastrophes within seconds. I can't handle it. It's going to go wrong. They'll find out I'm not good enough, and he would back out. He'd turn down the offer, come up with excuses, choose the familiar over the unknown. Year after year, the same paralysis in the exact moments when life called for expansion. Robert tried cognitive therapy for 2 years. He worked on his limiting beliefs, explored his childhood, repeated affirmations every morning in front of the mirror. He visualized goals, wrote letters to his future self, took online courses on manifestation. Nothing changed. In critical moments, his body would collapse before his mind even had a chance to reason. The issue wasn't in his thoughts. It was recorded deeper in layers of the nervous system that no conversation could reach. One day, during a conversation with a colleague who practiced somatic techniques, Robert finally understood. The colleague spoke about the vagus nerve, about how it shuts down your capacity for presence when it perceives intensity as a threat. And then he mentioned something Robert had never heard before, a physical point in the body where this nerve could be accessed, a precise gesture based on 3 spirals over the solar plexus area, capable of reactivating what Robert had spent decades trying to reach with his mind. Robert's story paused right there in the moment he discovered the sacred point. What happened next? You'll understand by experiencing it in your own body. The ritual that Robert discovered is the same one you're about to learn. 3 minutes, 3 spirals, the gesture that awakens the divine core and restores your capacity to hold presence when life finally calls you to create what you came here to bring forth. What Robert discovered that day, you are about to experience now. The ritual of the 3 spirals begins with locating the sacred point, the area of the solar plexus, just below the sternum and above the navel. This is where the vagus nerve forms the celiac ganglia, its largest abdominal convergence network. Before you touch, be honest with yourself. Think of something you want to create, a decision you need to make, a change you want to hold. Notice where your body tightens. It's probably right there at the center of your chest, where your breath rises and contraction takes hold. Now, place the fingertips of your right hand over that area. It's not firm pressure, it's conscious, tactile presence. Your hand rests over the sacred point as if greeting a part of your body that hasn't been acknowledged in years. Breathe slowly. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. Let the air drop down, filling exactly the region that used to pull back. Don't force, invite. Your body responds to presence, not to pressure. Now, draw the first spiral. A slow, clockwise motion, starting from the center and expanding in soft circles. The spiral is not just symbolic, it's a geometry the nervous system recognizes. DNA coils into a helix. The vagus nerve winds through the body. Galaxies spin in spirals. This movement activates the fascia's mechanoreceptors much more effectively than linear pressure. The first spiral releases surface tension and signals to the body that it is safe to expand. As you draw the spiral, keep breathing. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Feel the warmth beginning to rise, a gentle tingling, a sense of internal space opening up. Your chest may expand slightly, your jaw may release. Small signs that your fascia has started to respond. If you don't feel anything yet, keep going. Your body is learning a language it hasn't heard in years. Change comes in layers, not all at once. The second spiral goes a little deeper. The movement stays the same, slow, clockwise, starting from the center, but now you bring in sound, a low or a soft R that vibrates in your chest. It doesn't need to be loud, it needs to be felt. This vocal vibration stimulates the vagus nerve through two pathways at once: the bone resonance of the skull and chest, and the direct innervation of the larynx by the vagus nerve itself. Draw the second spiral now, with the sound resonating inside. Feel how the fascia begins to release in deeper layers. Your chest opens, your breath flows downward naturally. Your mind calms without effort. This is the first leap in intensity. Coherence between touch, breath, and vibration creates a new autonomic state. Your body realizes something is changing, not just relaxing, reorganizing. And before learning the third spiral, you need to know what happened to Robert when he started doing exactly this. Because what he felt in those first days is what you're beginning to sense now. And what changed in his life in the weeks that followed is what can begin to change in yours. Robert practiced the ritual every morning for 10 days. 3 minutes, 3 spirals, his hand over the sacred point, his breath moving downward, the sound vibrating from within. On the 11th day, he received an email from the hospital administration, once again offering him the position of supervisor for the palliative care unit. The same opportunity he had turned down 6 months earlier, and for the first time in decades, his solar plexus didn't harden. His breath naturally dropped into his abdomen. His chest stayed open. His mind remained clear, without the flood of catastrophizing thoughts. Robert accepted the position, and in the following weeks, he realized he could hold that decision without sabotaging it. No excuses came up, no paralyzing doubts. There was no collapse, the one that always used to happen whenever something important began to take shape. His vagus nerve was operating in ventral mode, presence, creativity, connection, instead of dorsal mode, freeze, shutdown, escape. His co-workers noticed the difference. He was calmer, more present, more able to handle intensity without disconnecting. What Robert felt in those early days, the warmth in his solar plexus, the breath dropping, the presence expanding where there had once been contraction, is exactly what you're beginning to feel now in your own body. The divine core is awakening, and what remains is the third spiral, the one that seals this new state as a permanent memory. The third spiral doesn't just release tension, it creates a new tactile memory that your body begins to recognize as safe. Place your hand again over the sacred point. Take a deep breath, and this time, as you draw the spiral, let the vocal sound be more sustained. A long, more R that resonates through your entire chest and abdominal cavity, vibrating not only in your throat, but in your sternum, your ribs, your diaphragm. Let the vibration do the work your mind cannot reach. When you combine conscious touch, spiraled movement, and vocal vibration at the same time, you are not adding 3 separate actions. You are creating a circuit of convergence. The HeartMath Institute has documented that heart coherence, when the heart, breath, and brain synchronize, multiplies the intensity of the emotional electromagnetic field by up to 10 times. The addition of low vocal resonance, directly stimulating the vagus nerve, elevates that effect beyond what could be predicted by simply adding the parts. This is the 11-fold multiplier. The number 11, in Hermetic traditions, represents the portal, the passage between 2 states of consciousness. Physics describes the same phenomenon through critical points. The moment when a system stops responding proportionally and shifts into a new phase. Water at 100 degrees Celsius doesn't become a bit warmer. It completely changes state and becomes vapor. The ancient traditions called this the overflowing spiral, the moment when the energy accumulated in the core breaks through containment and expands throughout the entire body. The three spirals are connected. The first breaks the surface tension, the second reaches the deeper layers, and the third seals the new pattern. The divine core, the vagus nerve, now holds a new memory of how to operate in ventral mode, in presence, rather than collapsing into dorsal mode when faced with intensity. The core practice is complete. What remains is anchoring this transformation so your body recognizes this new state as permanent, not just a passing moment. If your breath now naturally drops into the solar plexus area that used to stay tense, if there's warmth or tingling where there used to be contraction, if your chest feels more open, then your vagus nerve has begun operating in a new state. These are not vague signals. They are trackable somatic markers that the divine core has been activated. The body recognizes the shift before the mind can give it a name. The anchoring gesture is simple: 3 fingers over the sacred point, 3 deep breaths, a low internal sound. It can be silent. Just the mental vibration of an NI that you feel but do not emit. 30 seconds, 60 at most. Discreet enough to do anywhere in line at the bank before a meeting, in the car before walking into the house. This gesture seals the new pattern every time you repeat it. When you feel your solar plexus begin to tighten in front of the next important opportunity, place your hand over the sacred point. Draw a slow spiral as you breathe consciously and repeat internally. My divine core sustains what my spirit came to create. Do this for 60 seconds. The vagus nerve responds to conscious repetition. Every time you return to the gesture, you reinforce the autonomic pattern of presence instead of collapse. This is not an empty affirmation. It is direct somatic instruction. The seal is complete. Your body now holds the memory of how to operate in expansion. And what this means for your life from now on goes far beyond what 3 minutes a day might suggest at first glance. You now recognize the visceral difference between visualizing something you want and having a body capable of holding the frequency needed to receive it when the opportunity appears. Mental clarity alone is not enough. Pure intention is not enough. You need a nervous system that interprets intensity as safe expansion, not as a threat to be avoided. The ritual of the 3 spirals is not some magical manifestation technique. It is deep autonomic retraining. It teaches the vagus nerve to stay active in ventral mode, in presence, in creativity, instead of switching into dorsal mode when facing the unknown. When you consciously touch the sacred point and draw the 3 spirals every day, you're not asking anything from the universe. You're training your body to finally sustain, with life force and stable presence, what the creative field already knows you came here to manifest. And the divine core, the vagus nerve, is just one of the internal channels that ancient traditions mapped and modern neuroscience is now rediscovering. There are more layers of somatic activation, more internal portals, more territories of embodied consciousness waiting to be accessed. Gurdjieff once wrote, "Man is a plurality, his name is Legion." He was speaking of the inner centers of gravity, the axes that determine whether you inhabit your body or merely carry it around. What the ancient traditions called the divine spark was not a distant poetic metaphor, but an embodied recognition that within your body there is an axis where spirit and matter meet to generate creation. That axis has a name, divine core, and now you know where to touch it. If this video activated something in your body, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel to continue the journey into somatic wisdom that bridges ancestral knowledge and modern neuroscience. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next internal portals we're going to reveal. If you know someone who keeps collapsing in front of their own opportunities, share this video. It might be exactly what their body has been waiting to find. If you'd like to support the creation of this rare content and help reach more people who need to reconnect with their life force, become a channel member. Your contribution allows us to keep exploring these territories where tradition and science meet. Leave a comment below. My divine core awakens. My creative field expands. Let that phrase resonate as the seal of the practice you just experienced. The divine core has awakened. The body has learned to sustain presence instead of collapsing in the face of intensity. In the days ahead, when new opportunities appear, your response will be different. Your solar plexus will not tighten. Your breath will not rise. Your life force will not fade. The video now appearing on your screen reveals another internal portal most people never learned how to activate. Click the icon and watch it now. And remember, manifestation doesn't happen when the body finally obeys the mind. It happens when the mind stops fighting what the body has always known.